Back here working on the 56 Ford. It has definitely cooled down outside, so what I got is the carburetor is finished. We finished rebuilding it. It's all done. Took apart this. This is the bowl up here for the carburetor. This is a little rubber O-ring that goes around all the way. The old one was trashed, so a little trick to getting this in there while you're setting it all on is take some weather stripping adhesive and put it into the area where it's supposed to lay. Let it dry a little bit and it'll get tacky enough for it to hold the little O-ring. Now there was a little cotter pin that I pulled out, and this grease is pretty oily and sticky, so we're definitely going to repack the bearings on this thing. Okay, now that we have that off, I put a little spoon inside here, right there, and turned this little wheel. I had to back these off to be able to get it to slide the hub off. And we will be replacing this and replacing the brake shoes and this brake line here. We also are replacing the seal right here because you can tell down in there it was definitely leaking. A lot of newer drum brakes have self-adjusters. So on this one, which you can see this side's really thin, this one does not self-adjust. So you would have to go down here manually if your brakes were getting really kind of bad and manually adjust it through that hole in the bag to open them out. So anyway, let me get this springs off, the shoes off, and that wheel cylinder out. Alright, I've already done this, but I'm doing it again. I'm spraying it all down. I don't know if these are asbestos or not, but we want it all cleaned up anyway. And to start off, I'm gonna spin this, and maybe this little hook underneath it. Cool. There we go. This little spoon shape here, I'm going to slip it right there. Once I get the spring pushed out, I can work it off like that. These little clips here come off like that. Now we got to get this out. There's rust up in there, I'm sure. Oh yeah. So that's why we're replacing them. Okay. Thought I'd show you all this real quick. I don't know if it'll show up in camera, but you see this cracking checkering? This is the original. I just thought it was pretty cool. This whole thing, that is your vent for your air, not air conditioned, but the air vent to get fresh air. Made out of metal, goes all the way up through this fender into the back. And fixing to take this loose. It has a copper washer top and bottom, and yeah, I'll have to get some of those because I'm not going to try to reuse them. I'll tried to reusing some on the Corvette last, and it just not worth the hassle. Just get new ones, and that's why we're replacing these. You can see the cracking. I'd appreciate if y'all would go down and subscribe. I'm trying to get the channel built up, and we're getting cooler weather now, so I can get back at this and get on the Corvette and some other things that I kind of have lined up. If you like watching this kind of stuff, we will be getting this running pretty soon, hopefully. Crossing my fingers on that one. But we got the carburetor set in here. It's ready to go. And the motor is turning over pretty good. So the major thing is we want to have brakes. This is a 3-speed standard, so not too sure on the clutch on it yet. We will find out. We have got the brake line loose, and that looks pretty bad. So I'm gonna have to flush these out for sure, if not replace them. Instead of trying to take the brake line loose on the back side, just pull it out with it, and now we can just put the new one in, and we will put the brake line on before we put it back on there, because this is all wrench work. You're not going to get a socket back in there or none of that. Alright, we got this one all back together. Some definitely a lot better looking pads. Put these on first to hold the shoes there, and then these top springs on, and then I put this bottom spring on, and then I just take a screwdriver and pry the shoe out to slip that onto it. So not too bad. These ought to be a pretty good upgrade from these. I mean, they're just slick looking. Alright, I got this one back on. All the bearings are greased. Adjusted the drum, the pads or shoes on it. Very slight drag. Okay, well, it's the next day. It is now 101, I think, roughly, with the humidity feel. And we are starting on the back. And on these, it's not so bad. You do have a emergency brake to deal with, which is that right here. Pushes this one out, and you can see it's due for some shoes. It's down into the brads. The front one doesn't look like it got much use. I'm gonna get a pan, soak these down, and change this one out and the other side. And this is the underside of it. Yeah, you got pretty clean. Looks like the shocks were replaced at one time. I do like this type of axle because all you gotta do is unbolt the fronts for a gear change. And it does look like this one has probably the front seal leaking. It's got thrown it up there and stuff. What I don't have is the rubber brake line coming down from the body to the axle, so I'm gonna have to get that one. Okay guys, I have the front brakes done, the rear brakes are done, new wheel cylinders, new brake pads. I'm gonna wait to flush all these lines out. So I didn't tie the lines into the wheel cylinders yet. We'll get that done in the next video when I get this moved over there onto the lift. So for now, I'm just gonna finish changing that master cylinder, and that'll be it for this video, you guys. So I will talk to y'all in the next one. Bye.